Hello and welcome to today's question and answer session on raising bilingual children. My name is Rita Rosenbach. I am the author of the book Bringing Up a Bilingual Child, and I'm also the driving force behind the website multilingualparenting.com, as well as this Facebook page you're on and our group Multilingual Parenting. Please feel free to join us in the group as well, because there are many interesting discussions going on in there, as well as questions asked and answers, and other parents are giving their input. It's a great place to be. So today I'm coming to you from Finland, and I'm sorry if you had tuned in last week or yesterday as announced. During holiday things happened, so I had to change my plans, but here I am, and hopefully you will join me throughout this session. Today I will answer two questions that have been sent in to me in advance, and if there are any other questions which come in through the comments, I'll pick up those as well. And the questions are from Katrin and Dimitri. And first I will start with Katrin's question. Katrin and her husband, they both live in the US. She's German and he's American. He speaks English and she speaks German to their 2-year-old son using the one parent, one language option. The son is in full-time daycare, in English, I presume. And now they have the option to choose between different immersion, preschool immersion programs. The fantastic thing to have the option to choose between immersion programs. That's really a luxury. So the options are German and Mandarin. And Katrin, who is the German speaker, she would prefer that their son would go to the German immersion. His German level is about 70%. The son's German level is about 70% of English at the moment. And she is asking which one to choose. Her husband would love to have the son join the Mandarin immersion group instead. So things to take into consideration here are, with regards to Mandarin, is there a follow-up after the preschool? So if Katrin, if you're listening, or if you're listening to the recording, so if there is a follow-up after the preschool in Mandarin, then that might be an option, because you wrote that neither of you can speak Mandarin, so you will not be able to help, neither to maintain the Mandarin he would be learning were he to go to the Mandarin immersion program. Of course, you always have the option of then perhaps getting an au pair in who could maintain that Mandarin. So in that way, if there is no other school after the preschool, then you would have to find some other resources to maintain that language. Of course, a little bit of it will remain with him, even if he were not to use it after preschool, but it will not be as useful as if you were to find some other exposure and possibility for him to continue interacting in the language after he's been at the preschool. So the other option is German, and since you live in the US, English will always be his strongest language, and the onus on maintaining German will be on you, Katrin. And the longer he will stay at school, the more exposure he will get to English. So in my mind, it would most likely be more beneficial if your son went to the German immersion at this point, purely for the fact that German will be his minority language. As long as he's stayed at home with you, there's been a lot of exposure and you've been able to speak with him on a daily basis, several hours a day. But as the school time or away from home time increases, that also means that the English exposure time increases. So in that case, it would be better for him to deepen his German skills now at an early point, because I presume they will also introduce some literacy and so reading and writing, which would be a great help for you, because that's often part of the language learning which parents find difficult to do on their own. So of course you and your husband have to agree, and you have to find what's best for you. But for thinking about your son's language development, and I presume German is a very important language, and you want him to be able to fluently communicate with your side of the family, then to get that strong German base, my recommendation would be the German immersion at this point. You can always look into finding maybe some play groups in Chinese or Spanish or whatever is available afterwards. But for now, I think I would recommend the German one. If you have any further questions, then you can. And if you're watching the recording, just put the questions in the comments, and I'll pick those up and answer them. So that was the first question. The other one comes from Dimitri. Dimitri is Greek and his wife is Italian, and they have a 1.5-year-old daughter who speaks both Greek and Italian. Great, good, well done. And they live in Greece. And now they are getting a nanny who speaks English and French. So nanny doesn't speak neither Greek nor Italian. So their choice, again, is between which language they should ask the nanny to speak. In Greece, Dimitri says that children learn English at school from when they're 5 years old. So the question is whether to take the opportunity for their daughter to learn French from the nanny, or choose English, ask her to speak English. And so their daughter would kind of be ahead of the game a bit and learning English before they start learning it at school. First of all, you don't mention which language is the nanny's mother tongue. I would probably veer towards the mother tongue. I don't know which one it is, unless the person is fully fluent in both languages. On the other hand, you need to, like in my answer to Katrin, what you also need to think about is the continuation. So if your daughter now learns French from the nanny, do you speak, Dimitri, do you speak French, or does your wife speak French? Are you able to support her? Because there will come a time when the nanny leaves and your daughter will spend more time at school, which I presume will be in Greek. Possibly you have access to some international schools as well. But what I'm looking at here, that again, is the continuity. Will there be an opportunity for your daughter to continue interacting and maintaining and developing her French after the nanny is no longer with you? If you choose French. With English, as she will be learning English at school as well. And I presume that this probably the time when the nanny will no longer be with you. Then the continuity will come from school. So she will still be speaking like she already does. She will be speaking Greek with you, Dimitri, and Italian with her mom. Greek will become her strongest language since you live in Greece. That's inevitable. And Italian will be the minority language. Since Greece and Italy are not that far away from each other, you hopefully will have the opportunity to go and visit Italy regularly. So there will be other Italian exposure than only from her mum. But no matter what, Italian will be the minority language. And then if in addition to that, you will have to start looking for French exposure and help your daughter with that after the nanny leaves, then you need to consider how much of your own time you can spend on it, and how much resources, such as maybe continuing with the French au pair, who could be maintaining the French language. So these are the options. As if it's a case that the nanny will stay only a year or a couple of years, then you need to consider how can we maintain the French after she leaves. What options are there? Is there some school that she could go to, like a dual language school or international school, to ask for French? And the same considerations with English. So English will be easier for you since you've already established that this is available at school. So those are the things that you should think about. Those were the two questions I had received for today. There will be another Q&A in 2 weeks' time. I will put up the exact date and time on the Facebook page as normal. I won't say it now because it might still change, but I wish you all the best wherever you are. Here in Finland, we've had a remarkable summer with 30 degrees heat, which is, we might have one day a summer normally. Now we've had it's the third or fourth week that we're having it, and it's lovely, but it's hot. So I wish you all the best and thank you for listening. There are no questions in the comments, so I'll finish this session here, and you take care and keep on speaking those languages. Bye.